Hey, what is going on, YouTube? Aaron here. We are back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day here. And guys, we've got an exciting one for you here in today's video. A new teaser image was dropped a few days ago, and I tried to work on this video last night, but the PC Wikipedia pages were down, so I couldn't access the ship information, and therefore I couldn't do the video. But a huge shout out to the random guy and Mr. Seaman here for dropping this teaser information in my Discord. I will link my Discord and the links to these pages in the description of this video. But in this image here, we have Double Trouble. There's a little information on this typed thing here, as well as the outline for a ship, which we believe to be the Neor. And of course, leave it to the community. They have figured out the other ship is most likely going to be the Mini Gumo here. So we will give you guys full rundown on those ships, which are most likely going to be the next campaign ships. There was some information dropped in the roadmap that we are going to be getting a double campaign, one of which will be completely free, the other which you will have to pay in order to receive. But it looks like we're going to have two interesting choices, at least. Let's go ahead and review the Neor here, a fast battleship with a similar layout to World War I era German battlecruiser designs. Had history taken a different course, she might have been laid down in Germany by 1918. Bought by the Swedes in the 1920s and gradually completed by the end of the 1930s. The battleship's artillery armament is supplemented by 4 quintuple tube torpedo launchers. Say that 75 times fast. Neor was first released for sale on 27 November 24. So a European premium Tier 9 battleship, probably Tier 8 in our game. A main battery of 380, 15-inch or close to 15 inches there, but who's counting? With a 21-second reload. Now, similar to the Karl Johan with her torpedo tubes, the main battery is honestly super mid. Now, with a 21-second reload, even if it is super mid, you give yourself the fire chance of 34% in that HE damage coupled with torpedoes and maybe some half-decent secondaries. Now, they're only listed 6.95 here, and you only have 12 of them, but you get some form of brawling battleship, and you can have yourself a pretty gnarly just brawler that can distract the enemy. Now, typically, these ships, and I was guilty of this myself with the Karl Johan video, I had a lot of fun playing it, and in certain situations, if you can connect those torpedoes, such as we did in our first look video there, where we got like 200K, yeah, these ships are a lot of fun and impactful, but the way that the games sort of turn out in Legends, you're not the most effective in most situations, right? You either have to wait for a friendly push or an enemy push and put your ship in the right position. Now, a lot of that can be said for most ships in this game, but you take a ship like the Prussian, which is just impactful from start to finish of the game. It doesn't really need a specific scenario, and then you have a ship like this, and it's almost a letdown in terms of fun factor. But again, we're definitely going to give this ship a try here. 20 torpedoes with a 15-kilometer range and a 10,000 damage. You basically have 2 Oyster Jottlins or Hollands on the side of your boat here. Launching torpedoes every minute and 40 seconds there. So yeah, coupling that again with potentially a secondary build, and these ships, it doesn't really have the pros and cons listed on the wiki here, but these ships typically are decently armored with a either low or protected citadel, typically not that exposed. I remember the Karls, I think, was actually at the waterline or below. But again, you couple that with some decent armor, and you have a ship that can be impactful, at least in terms of the spreadsheets. A little behind the scenes about the spreadsheets and like battle impact. They judge battle impact, I think, by attracted damage. And yes, while that is definitely important, especially as a battleship, in most cases, you just see like a GK just go in and get absolutely farmed and do 50k damage, and they count that as like having a high battle impact. It's like, yeah, not really, but alas, that is the way that the cookie crumbles in that regard for the beloved spreadsheets. But that's going to be one of the ships here. The other of which is going to be the Mini Gumo, an Asashio class. The Asashio class was a group of 10 destroyers that were built for the Imperial Japanese Navy between 1937 and 1939. The Asashios were designed as an improvement over the preceding Shiratsu-class destroyers. The Japanese government allows the London Naval Treaty to expire without ratification, whose limitations disallowed improvements to the Shiratsu class without exceeding limits. So basically they improved on previous destroyers while building the largest battleship ever. I think that was they were building the Yamato under the guise of the London Naval Treaty, but they didn't adhere to it. So yeah, this ship looks like basically a Shimakaze with 2 racks of torps here. We've got a 3x2 gun layout and the 610 quads, 2x4 there with a 100-second reload, 20,000 max damage, 57 knots, so maybe a touch slower. I'm not 100% sure of the speed of Japanese torpedoes because I think the people who play them typically sit in the chair in the hotel room. But no, I'm just kidding, but not really. They do have also a nice 15-kilometer range, so this is going to be fun. I'm definitely going to enjoy playing this, at least initially. A few games there just to get a feel for it, and then I'm gonna have to take a shower for ruining a few Battleship players' games. I think the reason that a lot of us dislike IJN Destroyer players is because they often avoid their responsibilities. Like if a Shima is spotting and doing his job and trying to eliminate the other destroyer, I have absolutely no problem with somebody playing the Shima. It's just typically you get caught in the back by a destroyer that doesn't want to do their job, and now the Shima with a 5-kilometer concealment is hunting you, and there's not much you can do, especially in a battleship. The 127mm guns actually have a 6-second reload. If you couple that with a few commanders and a reload mod, this thing could actually be a somewhat dangerous gunboat. And I know a lot of players, especially people who might be new but have a brief understanding of the game, are sitting there saying, what is this guy talking about? Well, the guns, the 127s of the IJN, actually have a decent amount of alpha damage, especially with their HE shells. So considering that the torpedoes are already relatively strong with a half-decent reload there, 100 seconds is, it's not the best, definitely, but it's not the worst. So you combine that, adding into the guns and its concealment, and you can have yourself a pretty sneaky destroyer with some strong guns and even stronger torpedoes. But I won't read all of this here. It comes standard damage control, engine boost, and smoke generator. But let's go and review the pros and cons, and then we'll finish up this video here. But the pros, high damage on her HE shells, just like we mentioned, ability to switch between 2 types of torpedoes in battle. I don't know if we'll have access to that. Will we? Type 93, or Type F3. I guess this is similar to the Wisconsin's combat instructions, but I guess hopefully that will come in the game, but I don't know where it has the... Oh, okay, so does it have the types here? So I guess there's the ability or option potentially to switch between the 2 torpedoes. So just keep that in mind. I don't think we'll have that. We might, I don't know. But high damage in either fast or long range torpedoes. Yeah, so the Type F3 are like the, basically just the shotgun torpedoes, 77 knots with a 6.5 kilometer range and a 21,000 max damage there. So you could probably launch your long range at the beginning of the game and then switch to the other ones if you have that ability. But I don't know. Well, it remains to be seen whether or not that will come to the Legends version of this game. Cons, low base top speed, slow main battery reload with ineffective AP shells, slow turret traverse on the main battery guns, and poor AA defenses. So again, it says slow reload. 6 is definitely not fast. However, compared to, I think the Shima's is like 8, or what is the Shima's reload? I don't know. It's slower, but I definitely wouldn't recommend building into the guns, but it is somewhat of an option sometimes with a certain amount or a certain selection of Japanese destroyers. But yeah, those are the 2 potential campaign ships here. So huge shout out to those gentlemen, as well as Tuna for posting silly memes and making his way into this video. We're gonna have a lot of content coming up here, but I'm actually gonna be out of town this weekend. We're going to we got box seats at the Reds games this weekend, so if anyone's in Cincinnati, Tiger Terrorist, come on down and we'll go to the game. So I love you guys. You guys have a great weekend here. Like I said, potential. We've got, again, there was some information in this little snippet here on the typewriter about potentially one of the new nations being the Spanish. So someone did some deep diving, but we'll cover that in another video. But yeah, that's the video. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know what your guys' thoughts and opinions and all that good stuff in the comments down below. If I missed anything, if I was wrong about anything, like, this is probably not going to be a gunboat, but there's the potential, like I said. So I love you guys. Take it easy. Aaron out. Peace.